Our grandmother Madeline essentially took care of him, and I think that's part of what gives him so much respect for older people.
Some of you know that my grandfather, Stanley Dunham, enlisted after Pearl Harbor and went on to march in Patton's army. He went to college on the GI Bill, bought his first home with the help of the Federal Housing Authority. Then he moved his family west to Hawaii, where I was born, and where he and my grandmother helped raise me.
I think he really cares about senior citizens and how they're going to survive in the future. I spoke to him for a minute, and he looked over and he says, "I'm worried about you." and that touched me.
Our next president needs to be somebody that cares about people, as Barack has shown with his work as a community organizer. But they also need to have the judgment to deal with a dangerous world.
What defines a great president has really to do with the personal characteristics and judgment of the individual.
More important than ideology, more important than taking a particular position on a particular issue. Issues come and go. Presidential judgment is the key.
Senator Obama called this thing absolutely correctly, this intervention in Iraq. He says, I'm not against war, I'm against dumb war.
He brings out the best in people, and he's not lying to you. He's telling you the truth.
He's so authentic, and I believe that he takes his positions based on principle, and they don't change according to the polls. You know, they stay the same.
This party, the party of Jefferson and Jackson, of Roosevelt and Kennedy, has always made the biggest difference in the lives of the American people when we led not by polls, but by principle, not by calculation, but by conviction. When we summoned the entire nation to a common purpose, a higher purpose.
Senior citizens today are under so much financial pressure. We need a president who's not afraid to talk frankly about Social Security.
The underlying system is sound. The actual problem is a projected cash shortfall that can be readily solved. But the longer we wait to solve the problem, the bigger it grows.
Barack Obama does not want to privatize Social Security. He thinks it's dangerous. But he does want to ask those wealthiest Americans to pay more. And so he would lift the cap on Social Security income tax.
The senior tax issue is, I think, one of the most appealing parts of Senator Obama's platform.
Last month, I announced my tax cut for America's seniors. It's a plan that will eliminate income taxes for about 7 million seniors making less than $50,000 a year.
That's a big deal. That would make a lot of difference to a lot of seniors, to the majority of seniors, I think.
Many seniors are in that donut hole for 6 months of the year. Not only do we need to close the donut hole, we also need to allow the federal government to start negotiating lower prices on prescription drugs for senior citizens.
The main cost driver in our healthcare system is prescription drug costs. Our plan would allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices with drug companies, just as the Veterans Affairs hospitals are able to negotiate lower drug prices with drug companies. The second thing is we would allow drug reimportation from other developed countries, where we can ensure the quality of the drug supply. Thirdly, Barack Obama is committed to promote a rational policy for prescription drug use among doctors. That means getting doctors to use generic drugs in the cases where generic drugs are just as good as brand name drugs.
I worry about the fact that we're going to have more people over 60 than this country, I think, has ever had. We don't have enough nursing homes. And the fact is, it's cheaper to have people stay at home. And he will give people choices about their long-term health care. And next, Barack Obama is going to make sure that families are protected from going into debt and being impoverished by long-term health care. And finally, Barack Obama brings to the table respect for healthcare workers. He cares about the people that take care of the elderly. Why wouldn't he? He loved his grandparents. I need a president that understands I need him in the White House.
I know I can change this, but what we have to do is the American people have to understand that it can be changed that it's not inevitable, that we have enough money in the system, and what's broken is Washington.
We are running the risk of historians looking back on the first few years of the 21st century and saying that's where America came off the rails.
The country started this divisiveness. People take their positions and they just dig their heels in harder, and there's no dialogue anymore.
We have declined in the eyes of the world so much that they're all saying the same thing. We love America, but what is happening?
Everyone needs to feel that they have that capacity to make a difference. And we are sorely needing that now.
America desperately needs somebody right now who is inspirational. Somebody of the Kennedy mode that can bring us together and make us feel like we're going to soar again.
Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans.
When John F. Kennedy was president of the United States, people loved him.
John Kennedy had captured the imagination of the people of the world.
For people in my generation, John F. Kennedy made us feel that anything was possible and that we were responsible for it.
It was the kind of candidacy that inspired people to become a part of something bigger than themselves.
Jack Kennedy said, "Ask not
what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country."
When you think of what was accomplished then, so many young people flocking to the Peace Corps, to public service, with a tremendous amount of hope.
I was very fortunate to work for the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund. At the time there were sit-ins and freedom rides and fire hoses in Birmingham. That was really a wonderful thing to be able to be part of.
I was in the White House as Kennedy's civil rights advisor and was working with Sergeant Shriver in the planning of the Peace Corps. And I saw great things being done by mostly young people, and then so the hopes were very high.
I joined the Foreign Service because of presidential leadership. I joined because of John F. Kennedy. And it's just one more reason why we need an inspiration and a call to public service again, such as you're saying.
JFK said we should never
negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate.
Strong countries and strong presidents talk to their adversaries and try to resolve conflicts peacefully. That's what we need from the next president of the United States of America.
I've been waiting a long time to again find a leader who makes me feel and believe in the way that John Kennedy made me feel and believe. And I've found him in Barack Obama.
I have never felt so passionate about a candidate.
Senator Obama says that he's going to go talk to the world leaders and say America's back. And I'll be very proud when he says that. Very proud.
I heard his speech at the Democratic Convention, and I thought, oh my goodness, there is hope in this country.
There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America.
Nobody has made me want to do what I've done for Senator Obama. I can't physically do things as long as other people can, but I've tried to show up almost 5 days a week. If 1/1,000,000th of what I do helps to get him in the White House, I will be the happiest person on the planet.
Well, I was a little bit dubious in the beginning about how effective I could be knocking on doors, but I've been out about half a dozen times now. I'm getting to like it, and more than anything else, I'm beginning to feel that I can make a difference.
The reason I'm so involved in the campaign is for my children.
It's hard not to think of what the legacy that we're leaving for future generations.
This is the country they're going to inherit. We're not going to be around all that much longer. We want that country for them.
This election especially is important. It's important to my generation because it's more than just working for a campaign. It's working towards making this country a better place and making this world a better place.
Listening to Barack Obama speak has really got me really motivated about politics, and I just want to stay involved.
There are huge things at stake here, and I don't want to see the sea levels rise, any more than they already have. I really want to contribute and help society. So this is the first campaign I've ever paid any attention to.
These are not naive young people. and they do understand the sense of urgency. I'm almost 67. I will tell you, as someone who loves this country and the young people who are going to inherit it, we don't have that time. We don't have time for partisanship anymore. There are children without health care. There is so much anger in the world. We can't wait.
I am running in this race because of what Dr. King called the fierce urgency of now. Because I believe that there's such a thing as being too late, and that hour is almost upon us. America, our moment is now.
This is the most important election in a multitude of years, and I believe Barack Obama has the knowledge, the experience, the integrity, the honesty to bring America back to what it needs to be. They need to get out and vote, and they need to vote for Barack Obama.